here. I hope your day's going wonderful. I'm so glad you're joining me. Happy New Year. Today I get to share with you a project we're using the Spellbinders Large Die of the Mother Club kit. It's called Honeybee Jar. It's large enough to create a shaped card if you wanted to. I'm going to jump in and get started, and we are going to do a little bit of die cutting. I thought instead of using this as a honeybee jar that we would make it kind of as a vase. So we're not going to fill it with honey, we're going to fill it with water. So let's bring in some cardstock. All the cardstock that I'm using is Spellbinders Color Essential cardstock, and I'm going to create a background using fog cardstock with the largest die. This is an A2 panel, and you can see you could very easily create a shaped card even with this cap with the fabric on top of it. You could very well do that. So fog cardstock with the main die, and then with this die I mentioned that instead of honey we're going to create a vase with water. This one will cut out the centerpiece, the upper portion, and the lower portion. And I'm really not concerned about the upper portion because we're not going to use it. So I'm going to slide this up and save some cardstock. This is Spellbinders Glacier cardstock. We're going to create some greenery with all of the leaves. I'll probably die cut these out a couple of times. Here, this is Peridot cardstock, and then I thought we'd do some bright cheery colors for some florals. So we have pink sand, Dahlia, and Persimmon. And the only flower that I'm going to be using, although this one is really pretty, it's a layering one, I'm just going to use this one. So we'll cut this out once with both the pinks and then once with the orange. And then we're going to create a bumblebee. I'm going to create the bumblebee body with, I always forget this color, beeswax. How can I not forget? It's beeswax. So this is the body, the bumblebee base with yellow or beeswax cardstock. And then we have this. This looks like it's one piece, but it's actually like 5 or 6 little pieces. So we're going to die cut this out with black cardstock. I'm going to create 2 bumblebees, but I'll show you how to do one, and then I'll do the other one off camera. And then while we're at it, I want some black twine around my vase. So this creates a real pretty bow, actually. This is kind of valuable on its own for creating bows on cards. But I'm going to cut that out with black cardstock. Oh, we need wings. Here we have the bumblebee's wings. Let me grab some white cardstock. And I'm going to die cut out bumblebee's wings with white cardstock, but I'm going to add a little flutter, extra flutter, so I'm going to die cut the bumblebee's wings out with vellum also. And since we have vellum out, this die here with the rounded leaves, I'm going to cut out a few times with my vellum. For the flower centers, this is the flower center die. It's layerable. They're both the same shape. One has polka dots, the other one is just solid. The polka dot one I'm going to die cut out with white cardstock, and then the solid piece I'm going to put behind it to create some black dots. So this is going to be black cardstock. So the dotted flower center will be with white cardstock, and then the solid piece I'll cut out with dark or black cardstock. And I think that is it. That's enough, but we're going to die cut everything out and put everything together, and I will be right back. I have everything die cut out, and now we're going to do a little bit of ink blending. I'm just going to probably use the ink that's on my blending brushes. The brushes that I'm using are from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color. This piece here I'm going to trim off. I've got my scissors, because I think this is made for the flower buds, and we kind of don't need that, so it just snips off. I'm going to go ahead and add some green. Our leaves are all done. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little color to my flowers. For the Dahlia, I'm just going to use some red and just go over one side. Just a little bit adds a lot. And then for my pink sand, we'll add a little bit of a darker pink. Okay, and then for my persimmon, we'll use a darker orange. Lovely. To create my flower centers, it's very easy. I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of glue on the reverse side. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and just layer this. The nice thing about Spellbinders dies is there's usually one point where you can actually line it up. And then our flower center has some polka dots. I'm going to take a foam square and put it behind here. I'm just going to remove the release paper and we're going to add our flower centers. I already did these ones here. Okay, our flowers are done. We'll put these to the side. Now with our water, I have my blue blending brush, and I know I definitely want to add some dark blue to this. I might need to bring in a darker. I need to add a little more ink for this one. This I'm using Summer Shower. It's a Pink Fresh Studio ink, and I'm going to go ahead and add some ink here, at the very top, maybe at the very bottom too. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to, this will go here. You see, I already adds a little bit of dimension, but I'm going to add some to the very, very bottom too. Maybe on one side, huh? And they kind of fade up. And I think that will work out fabulous. Okay, now one more thing before we create our bumblebee. I'm going to remove the inside piece here, and I'm going to add some color with my gray ink. A different color to cardstock. I just wanted a little bit of a difference so it looks more like an opening. Okay? I'm going to put away my brushes, and we are going to, these are fabulous brushes, by the way. Now what we're going to do is create the bumblebee here. I created one. It's a little bit tricky to put together, but not as bad as you think. Okay, for this I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit better. Okay, now this is the base. What we're going to first do is add glue to the wings, the white wings. Remember we cut it out with vellum also. I'm going to go ahead and layer these. You know exactly where to layer them because of the holes on the wings. You don't want any of those, that yellow showing. Okay. So we have our wings. Now I'm going to add a little dot at the base of those wings here. And then I'm going to add my vellum wings, but I'm going to offset it a little bit like that. We'll do that to both of these. This one we're offsetting to the left. This one we're going to offset to the right. Okay, and then we have our bumblebee body. This one we're going to do last because this goes behind the bumblebee. So we're going to take this piece here that has the two stripes in it. We're going to take this piece here that has the two stripes. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to add glue just behind the stripe portion. And there is debossed detail on the bumblebee, so you kind of know where to put it. Just line up those stripes on the bumblebee. Okay? And if your vellum wings go over it, you just make sure those vellum wings can go on top of it there. Okay. After we have this one done, we have this stripe that looks like a C. We're going to add glue behind here. And then this one is going to overlap on top of the base of the wings. So you're basically covering up the base of the wings here. Let me show you. Well, I can't show you. I can't zoom in because I'm afraid my camera's going to get blurry. But you see how this covers up the base of the wings? Okay, after we have this done, this piece here, we're going to add glue just behind the circle portion. Whoops. Okay. Looks kind of like a spider, but this one is the antennae, and then you're going to line this up. And I'm just going to tack that down like so. We're almost done. Now what we're going to do is flip over our bumblebee, and then we're going to take this piece. Instead of putting glue on the reverse side, we're going to put this on the front of it. You know how you have the kind of curved edges versus the back side? So make sure it's the front side. And then you're going to glue this down following the curve of the bumblebee here. Tack it down. That's the tail of our bumblebee. Okay, you have the big curve, and then you have the small. You have the big curve that goes on the back side of the bumblebee, and then you have the small curve, which is the stinger. So when you flip it around, it's perfectly positioned. Just follow along the curve of that bumblebee. And that's all there is to it. I like to fluff up the vellum since we only added glue at the very base. But our bumblebee has a little bit of dimension to him. And we are good to go. I'm going to go ahead and put some foam squares behind here. Now we're ready to go. Now instead of using black for our bow, I think it stands out really nicely against our honey jar. I decided to switch it out for white because I think the black was competing with the bumblebees. So we're going to put this to the side, and then we have a white string this time. Okay, I'm going to flip over my water. We're going to add some adhesive, and we're going to go ahead and layer this directly on our honey pot turned vase. And then I will add the upper portion. It fits just like a puzzle, which makes it really nice. I'm going to go ahead and add with a 5x7. So it's 5 inches wide, 7 inches tall. I think this is going to give me more room since everything is so big on our card. I think it's just going to be a little bit more balanced. I'm going to go ahead and use my tape runner. I'm not going to add anything to the back either because I think we have a lot going on with all the florals. And I popped everything up with some foam tape, so all we have to do is arrange them. In our die set, there's a tag die. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine, and I'm going to try and find a greeting that will fit in here with one of my stamp sets. I'll be right back. I want to stamp the word hello from the Stampenda stamp set that I have. This is the True Friends. Spellbinders has this in the shop. But I just want, it says hello my dear friend, but I'm just going to want the hello. So I'm going to do stamp surgery. I'm going to just cut away the hello, my dear friend. Put this over here. And then I'm going to stamp hello. But before we stamp hello, I'm going to go ahead and take the ink that's left over on my blending tool. And I'm just going to add a little color to the very bottom of the pink and then also the orange. We'll kind of mix them both together. I think that will work out great. Now let's bring in our black ink. And we'll just stamp a simple hello at the very bottom. I'm going to go ahead and cut a slit in the very top. We're going to cheat a little bit, but it makes it really easy. And then I'll remove the release paper off of my foam tape. And then all you do is just slide this in, and it's connected really easily. And we will tack that down. We're going to bring in our corner rounder. I'm going to finish off my card using some of my Spellbinders Aura Opalescent confetti. I'm going to go ahead and add some here. Lovely. Okay, and then that will finish off my card today. Today we used the Spellbinders Large Die of the Month Club Kit for January 2024. This month's club kit is actually a honeybee jar. That's the name of it, but we turned it into a little vase with some bumblebees. Hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration, something a little bit different on how to create with the Large Die of the Month Club Kit. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.